have contact with enemy units.
Where's your emperor now?
Apothecary, I'm wounded.
Oh, how curious. You're not one of the Avenging Sons. Well then, follow me. Welcome to my forge.
Hello there everybody, welcome back for another Finn's Crafting Corner video, and today we are taking a sort of a review and a look at the Tabletop Scenics Industrial Hive Iron Labyrinth Hive Walls. Yeah. First things first, it's a MDF kit, whatever that means. It's a laser cut and everything. It's pretty cool, and yeah. Overall, the first impressions from what I get from this is I love it. The problem is, the one that I have is that as much as I love this is kind of I would say this is kind of an expansion kit in a way that's supposed to connect with your existing ones, because on their own you can't really do much out of this, mostly because you don't have enough of the these pillars. As the walls don't attach to each other, or if they do, I haven't figured out the way how that's supposed to work. Maybe you could do like that, so I don't know. Yeah, I guess you can do something like that, but in generally speaking, you need more of these. So this is perfect for your Necromunda or Zone Mortalis games, and personally I love them simply because I'm all about that industrial kind of, you know, all this detail speaks to me. I think I'm gonna actually paint these eventually with some metal, and in theory all this detail is laser edge, so long as you don't put a too thick coat of paint, you will be able to all this detail will be visible. So yeah, it's gonna look fantastic once it's painted. But yeah, overall, before I get into the whole thing, like yeah, I can absolutely recommend these. One thing though is to make sure you actually paint these. No, not paint, glue these together, especially the parts that you see here on the pillars, because otherwise, well, when you keep it connecting them like so, sorry, it's a bit hard on behind the cam. I haven't cut these out properly, so they're a little bit fighting every now and then, like so, and they hold pretty well together. But yeah, you might want to cut them out better than I did, and you just keep combining them like so, and that's why. Okay, let's turn that around a bit, because yeah, there you go, like that, and they are pretty damn sturdy. I'm not gonna be ripping them apart, but you can easily lift these when you make these like a fortification looking things. But as you can see, I'm already sort of running out of options here what to build once you have connected all these together. So you can kind of make this one corridor for maybe a kill team, so this might suffice to some extent, like so, and they hold strong enough for you to lift the whole thing. I would advise against it, but yeah. So overall, it's a neat little kit, but on its own, I wouldn't say it can do much. I mean, sure, you can, if you can sort of make a kill team map out of this, not really, kind of minimalistic. But yeah, it's a great kit overall. I would recommend, if you really like what you're seeing here, get like a huge set with a lot of pieces, especially these, or get multiples of these sets, and then you can actually make the thing. The one negative thing about it is that you can't really extend the walls, so I mean, you could make it like that, I suppose, but you can see the gap here. So this is kind of a bummer. So you can't make this long wall, but from what I can tell, that's They might. I'm fairly sure they have a kit for that purpose, like longer walls and just these pillars alone. But yeah. Now moving on to some negatives. See, this is the only paper that comes with the whole thing, and as you can see, instructions are available at TTcombat.com, which is, you know, fine if you have an internet, but if you don't, you have to get someone else to download the instruction for you. And also, the instructions online are kind of vague in a way. For instance, let me just... there was one of these walls is like... there's some easy to miss parts in some of these that... well, first things first, only one of these... one of the sides is actually etched with the laser or carved or whatever, so it has the details. So you would always want the always make sure you have that pointed outwards. Then you might want to be careful on these pieces when you rebuild it, because one of these says, well, you can't see it anymore, but there was like no real indication that this was actually the bottom piece and the smaller one was the top. So I kind of had to do a guesswork. Most of these pieces go only in the place where they are intended to go. You can't usually place them the wrong way. For instance, if we take one of these walls, these kind of a ladder holding things, some of them are glued, some of them are not, but you can only place them in one way. There's a very small deviation on one of the connectors, so it's not equal in the distance, so you can only put them one way in. And most pieces are like that, so there's very little room for error, but it doesn't actually explain anywhere but that, oh, hey, you know what, you actually want to have this side. You only have the general shape, you don't have any of the detailing in the actual thing, so you might end up using, as almost happened to me, let's see. Oh yeah. So these two pieces, well, I suppose they are different shape in the end, but I nearly used one of these hazard things into one of these. Although I would have noticed it in the end, but something that you're gonna be careful is which one of these pieces you actually use for each things, because they are different to each corresponding wall, the way they have been built. Like there's 3 different compartments there that connect over here, and yeah, so there are some things you need to be careful with. And some tips that I found myself when you are building this pain in the ass thing, first things first, glue them together. Like I was getting this one, you could get away probably without gluing in until you gotta do like this lifting thing off the pillar. So that one you might not be able to, you know, you could technically skip on gluing, but it's gonna fall apart eventually. This one, no, not happening. This one, not happening. Just, you know, give up and glue them together. I was trying to get away with it. And regarding assembling this one, the way it works is you combine these pieces together. There's like 2 things that you just put together, and then attach them to the bottom, and then attach them to the top. This took me ages to make, and in the end, the way I ended up doing it is that I just took the top and the bottom, one piece, start one for the bottom, put it in the top, then insert the second one while holding it like that. So I use one arm to, like, you know, first insert, oh well, I guess from the other side. So inserting this one to the bottom, then sliding into the top, squishing it so it actually goes in, and then moving to the next one until you have the whole thing. First I tried to put them all to the bottom and even gluing them, then put these side things and just gluing from the bottom, and the top one wouldn't just get in, so in the end I just had to hold the pressure and keep like nudging these in and keeping the pressure until they actually got in. This one took a lot of time to get together. And yeah, some of these pieces are kind of pain in the ass to make, but it looks cool. And yeah, they are not really that hard to make. It just requires a little bit keeping an eye on what you are actually doing. Now, one thing that wasn't explained in the guide at all, and even not in this picture, is what are these? Like, they are just two pieces like that. Like, what are these for? And it took me forever. I couldn't even find answer online to figure out like what are these pieces for. I know that they are supposed to go like that. Eventually, I decided I saw in one of the many product pictures that you are supposed to put them at like that. So it covers up these things in the end. So if you don't have any pillar, this one you might have some ventilation or whatever added to the side for more detail, so it's not just these jagged things. And well, I guess technically maybe you could somehow use that to attach the walls. Let's do some experimentation live from your local Finn's Corner. So if I put it like that, no, doesn't. Maybe? No, it doesn't work. You know, maybe if I play around with this, maybe you could get something like that to work between the two buildings. But, nah. But there was a whole bunch of these pieces that came with the kit. I have no clue. How are you using them and what are they for? What I have gathered is that I believe these are adapters for... So you can attach these buildings to the existing industrial hive or the iron labyrinth or ILH, whatever they call it, for the other industrial hive buildings and the iron labyrinth pieces. But the thing is, I actually went and checked some of the other kits for this range, and I cannot find a single example. Okay, I didn't go through all of them, but I can't find a single example where and how would you actually use this. What I gathered is maybe the closest one is that they are intended for some, maybe a rail that would somehow like you would attach this one, or alternatively to hold up like a floor above. I don't know. These are like just my brainstorming. So if you would like have a plate on top of this one, like so, it would technically speaking sit flush there. You could have like a catwalk here if you had if you make like a corridor with them. But like there's just no documentation. No, I tried to even look other reviews regarding this product line. I can't find any answer. What are these for? So if you have answers, please leave it down in the comments, because I want to know what the hell are these for, because there's a lot of them in here. And likewise, if you know any good examples, what are these for, then other than, you know, what I just showed at the... Apparently this is their intended purpose, to put at the end there, but I figured, you know, somehow combining with those leftover pieces you saw, the adapters, or so, that's what they call them, you could somehow make it like a guardrail. I even like played around with the idea that these could somehow form like stairs. I can't remember how exactly. I kept combining the pieces, so if I put that like there, and then the pieces of this grill or something, I don't know. Like, I kept playing around a lot. Maybe it was something like that. So I would put it in there like that, and you could technically have like a step going on, and somehow, well, I couldn't figure out how would I combine this with the other pieces. I tried this slipping the next piece in there, but no, that doesn't work either. So I've been doing extensive play with these extra pieces and haven't figured out anything else. So if you have any better ideas what to do with all these, aside from, okay, well, I guess these two already explained what are they for, but these ones, I don't know. But yes, that was a lot of rambling. Overall, these are pretty high walls for your average Necromunda or what do you call it? Zone Mortalis. But I like them being so tall. I mean, the average one is about half, I believe. So you would be looking at something like that for sure. The bigger sets, I believe, and. So yeah, if you already own some of the Iron Labyrinth walls or the Industrial Hive thing and you want to get a decent add-on or this small kind of add-on, sure, go for it, although make sure to get some of these like extra. I'm fairly sure they are being sold separately too, just these things. But if you don't own any MDF terrain and you want to get this Industrial High one or the Iron Labyrinth thing, invest in the bigger set right off the bat, because these small ones, as affordable as they are, well, as you could see earlier, you can't do much with just this. So I sort of regret I didn't get a bigger set right off the bat. But I will be getting one in the future, or maybe getting another one of these. Probably not, but well, I mean, maybe I will get... I'll get this in a bigger set. Let's just put it that way. So, in my book, it's a great add-on for my intended purposes. But on its own, you can't do really much out of this other than maybe a cool-looking scenery piece to go with everything else. But yeah, that's my take on it. So, yeah. Until next time, guys. See ya.